for someday? Ready to finally start living your best life right now?
You're in the right place. I'm David.
And I'm Wendy.
And this is the David and Wendy Podcast. We're your life coaches here to move you from excuses to action.
From mastering your mindset to finding real joy, we're keeping it real, raw, and maybe just a little ridiculous.
Let's get into it, Wendy.
Let's go, David.
Welcome back to the David and Wendy Podcast.
We're so glad you are here, whether you're coming back after listening to our first episode, which was about coincidence and serendipity, or if you're just joining us for the first time, we welcome all of you. Today's topic is, why is your experience the way it is? It ties very nicely with our very first episode that was about coincidence. And to get us started, I want you just to think for a minute. By definition, every coincidence ties us back to a thought or feeling that we have had. For example, we've all had an experience where the phone rings, or we were thinking about somebody and the phone rings and it's them. It's like, oh, what a coincidence that is, or we were just talking about that. Those are all examples of things that we oftentimes call coincidence. So I'm curious to our listeners, and I'm going to ask David here in a minute, but what do you think? Is it really coincidence, or is it we're putting our energy and attention on something and then next thing you know, it's our experience, aka manifesting? So I'm curious, David, what do you think?
That's an interesting question, because we all take coincidence as just a fun little whim thing. We don't really give it much focus, but if we do give it some focus, give it some interest and question, it's, what is that? How did that, we've probably had countless, coincidence, what we would categorize as a coincidence, or serendipity, which is just a coincidence that has a good outcome. And yet we keep calling them coincidences. Why are we not calling these manifestations when it's the same thing? When you want to manifest something, you have the thought, you focus on it, and then it comes into being. Why is a coincidence not a manifestation? And yeah, it's just a really interesting topic to talk about.
The delivery system doesn't know that what it means that I don't want. It just hears cancer. So yeah, our attention goes to that. So I think that this is something we really need to think about as we say the words that we're saying to ourselves, to others, or thinking about an experience that we are about to have, or going to have, or could have,
or want to have, right?
Yeah, or like to have.
Yeah,
yes.
So here's how I see it. When you are focused, let's take the old, for those of you that don't enjoy going to your job every day. You have those moments where you're like, I just really don't want to go to work. Really don't want to go to the job. Or whatever else the response, something that is your responsibility to do or take care of. And you focus on having to do that, and you probably generate some form of energy around dread, or no fun, I don't want to do that. And so that's the way the whole system works, right? The system works on the unconscious, feels the physical feelings you're feeling. It feels the emotion that you're putting into it. It listens to and hears the subject of what you're talking about. So if you're saying, I don't want this to happen, the unconscious doesn't hear the don't part, or won't. Any negation is missed because you're focused on that subject. So if you're focused on that subject, the unconscious is seeing that subject and all your feelings around it, radiating it out like a radio antenna, and
Right.
therefore it comes back and is delivered. Whether you think it's good or bad is irrelevant, because to the universe doesn't even have that subjective option. It doesn't think good or bad. It's just like, oh, you want something else to make you feel and think like this, because this is how you're thinking and feeling now, and you're putting a lot of energy in it. Okay, let me give you some more of that. And then you're like, what? I just didn't want to go to work. Why do I have a flat tire? Seems completely unrelated, doesn't it? And yet, the means to the end is still the same.
Mm-hmm. Don't want to go to work. Yep.
don't want to go to work, so you got to spend all that time getting your car fixed, and that's a pain in the butt. Mm-hmm. So it goes right along with the feelings. It just recreates or continues to create those feelings that you had when you thought about not wanting to go to work. It's like, I just really don't want to go today. It's terrible or whatever. And then you get in a situation that causes you not to go to work that you don't like. Right?
Right.
So,
yeah. No, this is great. And I'm sure, some of our listeners are probably thinking, well, then what do we do, or what do we say? And I know in the documentary, the doctors were saying, instead of saying what you don't want, what is it you do want? So, for example, in that specifically was, I'm so grateful. I want a healthy body. I want every cell in my body to be healthy and sparkling, and, or, as far as the job goes, what I'm thinking of, David, is like, well, I get to go to a job today.
Right.
It's it beats the alternative.
Yeah, exactly. And again, this whole thing is about mindset. There's many techniques from many different wonderful coaches and I don't know, gurus, whatever different ideas, different concepts, but they all come down to changing your mindset.
Absolutely.
Which your mindset sets your how your emotions are, how your feelings are, what your thoughts are, which then gets run out through your radio antenna, because you're just a big radio antenna, and the universe or God or however you prefer says, oh, want more of that? Okay, great. So the idea is, it's not only, I want to feel good, I want to be healthy, but then you ask yourself, what would it like to be healthy? How do I feel when I feel healthy? Right? And then you take on that feeling. You take on that mindset. You take on the thoughts around that. Oh yeah, when I'm feeling healthy, man, I can go to the beach or the mountains or wherever that I enjoy going. And and now you've taken, instead of saying I don't want this to happen, that leaves every other option on the table. Now you've taken every option off the table and focused on one. Right. It's like getting in a taxi or maybe an Uber. But when you get in, you don't tell the driver, don't take me to the grocery store.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, okay, then where do you want to go? What do you want?
Great example, David. I mean, I was just thinking about, I've worked with some clients that will be like, nervous about a presentation or something they have to give at work. And they're like, oh God, I don't want to give this presentation. Well, what is it you do want? You can't change the fact that you do have to, but you could change, first of all, be aware how you're feeling, but then to change that mindset, right? Like, oh my gosh, I give the presentation, I knock it out of the ballpark, and really think about how that feels, your confidence, your chest is, puffed a little bit, and what it feels like to be in that room giving that presentation positively, confidently, and everybody's, engaged. So, yeah, it's just shifting just a little bit, and it starts with an awareness. Obviously, we all, it takes a little bit of time and a little bit of practice. But I think the first thing is, yes, we may have a negative thought, right? But catching it and then shifting,
Catching it and
and
shifting it, right? If I
yep,
don't want this, then what do I want? Right?
exactly.
That's the practice. I don't want
Yes,
this.
yes,
Okay, then what do I want? You just shift, and
right.
then all that energy goes towards what you want. There will be. I'll bring up later on. We'll be sharing some practices on actually how to become how to set yourself up anyway to becoming more excited about, say, a presentation that you're not excited about doing, and practices along those different things. Maybe just going and meeting someone. It's all about changing that mindset from what could go wrong to what can go right.
Exactly.
Right? Finding the benefit. If you're
Mm-hmm.
if you're having an experience that you're not enjoying, there's a benefit.
Yes.
And a lot of times people get stuck on the problem and they don't look for the benefit. And the benefit can be as simple as, okay, what got me here? Oh, I made this choice. Okay, don't make that choice anymore. It can be that simple,
Right.
or there could be a greater learning in it. But there's when you start to, and here's the thing, when you start to get in the mindset that every experience has a benefit, then
Exactly.
it frees you up from thinking you're going to make a mistake or thinking the outcome might be bad. Because when you're thinking, oh, the outcome is going to have a benefit, well, then you are the mind that you're more relaxed going into it. You're more open to how things are going to go. And you do that, right? You do that practice of feeling through it. And we'll get more into that in other episodes. And it just changes your whole mindset, which changes your whole experience, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It just, as we're talking about this, I just think about, we all have different things that come up in our lives that, normally you may think that they might be negative or a bad experience, quote unquote bad, but it's just that it's just a slight shift in our thought process and our mindset around what's happening. And even if something might seem scary, right? I mean, just stating the positive and really feeling into that. What if, what if this does work out? Or, so yeah, this is a great topic. This leads us right into next week's topic, which is it really possible to create your life experience?
Yeah, and that's a good question, right? Because that's what everybody wants. They want to manifest things in their life, and the trick to that is you're manifesting every moment of your experience.
Absolutely, David. So on that note, thank yous. We're grateful that you tuned in, and we will see you next week.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right. That's the show for this week. We hope you are feeling motivated, like you're ready to take on the world.
If you got value today, do us a huge favor, like and subscribe, and leave us a review. It helps us reach more people just like you.
You can find all our info in the show notes and connect with us at our website, thedavidandwendypodcast.com.
We'll see you next week. And remember, always be kind, loving, and compassionate to everyone you meet.